For sure, one of the most talked about shows of 2024 so far is Netflix's Baby Reindeer. It is a roller coaster ride. I've watched all 7 episodes. Let's dive in. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my TV review for Baby Reindeer. This is streaming all 7 episodes now on Netflix. It is part of the true crime wave. It's based on Richard Gadd's own autobiographical one-man show, and he stars in this as well. So he's really been honing these characters, and it shows because this is much more than your typical true crime thing. So we're gonna dive into all of this here just in a moment. But first, let me welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video. We do movie and TV reviews here on the channel, and just about every day something new goes up. There's always a lot of stuff to check out. So with that in mind, please consider subscribing, hit that like button, comment below, share it on your socials, all that stuff, of course, helps the channel out. So Richard Gadd plays a fictionalized version of himself named Donnie Dunn here. And that in itself is interesting because I think we are forever going to be wondering what is fact and what is heightened or fictionalized for this series, because it gets into some really intense things, and the real inspiration, the real woman who inspired the stalker character Martha, which we're going to talk about. She even went on Piers Morgan a couple of weeks ago and said, oh no, this is all, not right, and here's what really happened, and in her mind. But the show also makes it pretty clear that she struggles with mental health issues. So I think we're forever going to be sort of wondering, what exactly is, who is the fictionalized version of Donnie Dunn, which is the real life Richard Gadd, but what parts of that have been heightened for this show? And I certainly don't know. I haven't dove into it enough, but I'll tell you what, these characters and the things they go through and the twists and turns are seemingly very realistic, and certainly I think Gadd has a lot of experience with these characters since he did the one-man show, and since it is about his own life and his own experience. So I don't know. I mean, it most of it seemed pretty real to me. But of course I wasn't there, so who knows? But Jessica Gunning plays Martha Scott, who is a former lawyer turned into really Donnie's stalker. It seems like she does nothing else. And in some cases that is true. She'll I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but yes, I mean, let's just say she spends a lot of time, worrying about what Donnie is up to and who he's with, and texting him and calling him and X, Y, and Z. And it's an interesting question of, okay, well, why did he let this go on for so long? And it is very explored in this show. In one of the first scenes of the first episode, he's going to the police and say, oh, this woman's been stalking me for 6 months. And the cop says, well, what's taking you so long to come in? And we learn all about that as the episodes go on. Lately, I've been trying to catch, if it's short enough run schedule and I have the time to just binge it over a day or two, I've been trying to catch full seasons or full miniseries, so I can really give it a proper grade. And this is one that after 2 episodes, I was like, wow, I'm like all in on this. If it's something that after a couple episodes it doesn't grab me, I think that in itself says enough about the grade. But, something like this, where every episode, I wouldn't say necessarily is leaving us on a cliffhanger, but there's so much going on with this story and these 2 characters that you do want to find out what's next. So I was watching this over the course of 2 days, and the episodes are pretty short. They're all about a half hour. Episode 4 is, which I would say is the most intense episode, is about 43 minutes or something like that. And I honestly think they could have trimmed that to, sort of that half hour mark, because I think that one is going to be the one that really is going to kind of make or break viewers, because it's very intense. It shows us about Donnie's past and, some of the trauma that he's endured. And so there's definitely, in that episode specifically, I think there was a trigger warning. I don't know if there were other episodes with that. But I would say definitely, brace yourself for all of these episodes, really. As we explore more of these characters. But also, I do think they could have trimmed a little bit around Donnie's sort of fledgling stand-up career. They identify that fairly early on, and we see a lot of moments of him sort of on stage just dying up there. And I don't want to get into, again, the specifics of what the characters do or whatever, but I think some of those scenes are necessary, and some I think go on way too long. We get it. He's not really a particularly good comic, and that is what it is. But also in this show, really nobody that I know, and I think we need that for a show like this, because I think it helps us really dive in with these characters a little more than, that's the third lead in, whatever British show. I did not recognize Richard Gadd or Jessica Gunning at all. Richard Gadd, I thought I did, but I guess maybe he just has that kind of face that you think you've seen before or whatever. But you have Nava Mo as Terry, who is a therapist and a trans woman. And there's another chunk of this show that is about queer identity, and it's part of some of these characters' backgrounds and everything, so they dive into that. But you also have I don't recognize really any of these people. Tom Goodman Hill, Michael Wildman, Shalom Brune Franklin, names I don't know, but everybody here is really firing on all cylinders acting wise. I do think we're going to get a lot of Emmy nominations for this show, for the acting, and I'm sure probably best limited series of the year. The buzz for this is very real, and I'm not a true crime person really, so this is one that I wasn't necessarily going to rush to, but the buzz was so big, and I didn't even really know much what it was about, other than that this guy had a stalker. But the buzz was like deafening, so I'm like, okay, I got to check this out for myself and see what's going on, and it is worth it. It is, I think, definitely one of the best shows of the year. The characters are so nuanced and so well thought out, and I'm sure that, like I said, is an extension of him working on the one-man show for so long, and it being, part of his own identity, really pouring himself into the role. And I mean, I have to imagine, reliving a lot of this stuff has been, very, very triggering just for him. But then I think, okay, well, if he did the one-man show for so long, maybe he's a little bit more desensitized to it. But, in some aspects, maybe you never do get desensitized to some of this stuff. So it's very intense, but really, really gripping. I think it is probably not going to be for everybody. But I think if you want to dive in on this, you will really, really kind of, if you're going to jump in, do it with all your might, because you will need it, I think. Very, very, very intense show. Well acted, well crafted. I think we're going to see a lot of Emmy love for this in the fall. I leave Baby Reindeer with an A. I do think that some of it maybe could be trimmed a little bit. Episode 4 certainly intense, like I said, some of the stand-up stuff. But, I applaud this show for not doing 50 minutes every episode. Most of the time, Netflix, I think, wants those numbers for the minutes. Most minutes watched. So, hey, let's make all these episodes an hour, and it's so padded. This is definitely not that. So, check it out on Netflix now, Baby Reindeer. Thank you for watching Dan Reviews It. We'll see you next time.